There's always a weird like change in like the microphone quality the second the recording starts.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like, I don't know. Skype's just busted. I've been looking into some other alternatives.
Skype is a very, very old software, and it does not update that frequently.
It shows its age, but I was looking into some other stuff. I'm hoping I'll have at least something a little more concrete for an alternative. But I don't know.
Humu.
In any case, this is not a tech podcast, but this is a podcast.
It is not a tech podcast. Do not come to us for tech advice.
No, we're the wrong people for that.
This is the Broke Bitch podcast.
This is the Broke Bitch anime podcast where you can get at least some of your Weebly news and plots spoiled for you a week in advance.
We're basically just a glorified plot synopsis.
Yeah, but we have hilarious bits.
I don't know, hilarious. Hilarious means like you're losing your mind over it. Sometimes they're chuckle worthy, like yes.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of a good one from last week, but it's been a long time since I edited that episode. It's been a long time.
I have Ian doing the editing now. That's Ian if you're new.
Yeah, and the other guy is Alex.
Hello.
If you're new, episode 7 of this season, probably not a great place to start, but you do you.
Yeah, we can't control what you do.
Exactly. So I'm resigned to not worrying about it. Instead, we offer, I would say, some good plot advice and breakdown commentary. Because I think there are some times when we talk about stuff and it's like, all right, that's some decent filmmaking advice. But we talk about shows with fake people in them.
It's true. None of them are real.
None of them are real. They would be if we watched Golden Kamuy Season 3. Well, if we watched it for the show.
Well, I mean, it takes some liberties.
It definitely takes some liberties.
Hijikata would have been not alive at that point.
Yeah, he would have been super dead.
Yeah.
Let alone alive and also, I guess, raising his own gang? His own mutiny again?
He died in battle when he was in like I think he was in his like 20s.
So yeah, a long time. Fun fact, Hijikata Toshizo is dead.
Is that a fun fact or a sobering fact?
I bet it's probably a fun fact for some of the people that he would have killed.
I guess if you were anti the Tokugawa shogunate, it's a fun fact.
You know, there's a lot of anti-Tokugawa sentiment going around these days. I think that'll really gain traction. I think it's about time we take down the shogunate. We're coming for them.
I hate the Shinsengumi.
And you know what, Alex? We'll take them down someday. But not today, because today we have some other business to attend to.
Yeah, we got to talk about Akudama Drive.
Yeah, it's a good show.
Yeah.
This episode is fucking bonkers, but that's cool.
So Hoodlum gets back and he's like, hey, they're like, oh, you're covered in blood. Are you okay? He's like, nah, it was that executioner girl. I stabbed her right in the eye, but apparently not that deep.
Nah, he sliced her a little bit. Or maybe medical technology is just super dope.
I don't know. Going through the brain with like a lightsaber, I don't think you can.
I've seen Star Wars.
Listen, if it's that good, then Brawler and or the other executioner should be fine.
Yeah. Those dudes were just punching each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, so he gets back and he gets mad at the kid because the kid's like, well, we didn't expect everyone to survive when he mentions that Brawler died. Which is a cold
reaction expected of this semi-robotic child, and we learn their origin this week. But it's maybe not the best thing to say in the moment.
Yeah, but they explain their origin. Clearly, they were lab experiments.
Yeah. Basically, someone in Kanto, some mysterious shadow government, was trying to figure out the secret to immortality, and they were going to send it to Kansai. No, someone in other way around.
Kanto.
because Kansai is where they are.
Kansai is
Kanto,
the shitty one, the one they live
yeah.
in.
I wish they had picked two places that did not sound remarkably similar, but that's okay.
I mean, they just both start with a K sound.
It's Kan.
Kansai. Kanto.
Kanto. Yeah, but they succeeded with the one kid, and they made another one, and that's his sister. But to make her, they ended up killing like, what was it, 5,000 or no? Each one has the lives of 2,553 kids or something in them.
Yep.
So they killed a lot of children to make that happen.
You can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs.
We're making the mother of all omelets here, Jack.
So their plan, it turns out that the place they go to is some sort of like space museum, and they have a rocket there, and their plan is to go to space, go to the moon where no one can get them.
Their plan is to go to the one place not corrupted by capitalism.
The one place not corrupted by capitalism.
Space! You gotta love it. That's the first fucking thing I thought of when they revealed their plan was, oh, we'll just go to the moon and it'll be fine. Whatever.
And it's great because the executioner, all of them show up, and the boss lady is just like, you fool, there is no moon. That's a fake. It was destroyed during the war.
The flames of war even touched the moon. And she fucking presses a button on a controller, and the hologram around the entire moon disappears.
And then turns out, of course, Doctor is the most, I'd say, like, bad member of the group. Turns out to have sold everybody out to the executioners.
Curse your sudden yet inevitable betrayal.
And she's like, hey, so you guys are going to keep your end of the deal, right? And she's like, yeah, we're not like you Akudama, because we're decent, honorable folk. So we'll take you off the Akudama list. And I'm like, she's going to end up back on it in like a week.
Yeah, give her, not even a week. Give her like 1 day and she'll be back on that list.
Give her 12 hours.
What's her plan? Because
like, all right, you're off the list. Just stop cutting people into a million little pieces.
Stop butchering people on public transportation and also doing open heart surgery in public.
I think she saved that one guy, though.
She did kill everyone else on the bus.
Yeah, so
she saved that one guy.
I don't know if the doctor math adds up there.
I think that 1 day of good doctoring is worth an unlimited amount of random passersby just being butchered, just slaughtered. Because whatever.
But we get more cool fight scenes.
Yes, we get a very cool fight scene. We finally get a fight scene between a crowd of people and our protagonists.
And it's always great when they're fighting jobbers because they can kill as many as they want without consequences.
Yeah. I think my favorite part is there's one part where the kid throws his hat to stop a bullet and it like releases this big flare, and one of the executioners is like, "What's that light?" And Courier behind him pulls out his gun and he's like, "That's the end of the tunnel." And he just fucking blows his head off.
Yeah. No, Courier is super cool when he fights just because he has his metal arm that he punches things with and then his pistol. And then he uses his bike for all the other shit. I
think Courier is definitely the mangaka's favorite character because he is unnecessarily cooler than everyone else.
Also, he matters more in terms of like survival, because I can tell Cutthroat is probably done after this.
Oh yeah, Cutthroat's super dead.
Yeah, because Cutthroat is killing a bunch of them, and he gets his hand on one of the lightsaber things, which is actually kind of cool because he's like, "Ooh, neat."
Oh, I can kill so many people with this.
Yeah, he got stabbed in the leg, and he's already in like rough condition because he's like, "Oh man, I just got that sewn back on."
A good callback to something that still to this very minute does not make any sense.
Yeah, so they all start fighting, and the boy shoves Swindler and his sister onto the rocket and launches them into space.
Yeah.
Even though they know that the moon's not there anymore, and I don't see Swindler as knowing what to do in that situation whatsoever.
Yeah, I hope the kid knows how to, I guess, pilot a rocket ship, I don't know what the end game here is besides away.
Something tells me they're gonna end up like crashing into Kanto or something and meet back up with Hacker soon.
Oh, that'd be cool. I'd be down for that because then we have the party split pretty evenly. Because we'll have Courier, Hoodlum, Cutthroat, and the boy, and then we'll have Hacker, Swindler, and the girl.
Yeah, and Doctor's just a bad guy now.
And Doctor's a bad guy now.
But yeah,
I'm down with that.
It's weird, but it's good shit.
They're pulling off a lot of shit that I would not expect a lesser show to be able to pull off with just like, because there's just so much stuff in this episode. Like, we'll separate from this tense situation real quick. The entire backstory of this child and how that they are actually just immortal, literally immortal, and also there's a double cross in this episode, and also the kid's plan is to go to the fucking moon.
But there is no moon.
By the way, there is none. That doesn't exist anymore. Also, there's a huge fight scene now, so that just have all of that in one episode.
It's a lot of stuff at once.
It's packed with content. I don't know how they fit all this stuff into 30 minutes, but it makes me feel embarrassed for some of the shows we watch that are like, yeah, nothing really happened this week. Because then you get Akudama Drive, where everything happens. Everything happens.
At the very least, stuff happens in the next show that we're watching.
Indeed.
Yep. So The Wandering Witch, Journey of Elena. So this week has an actual full plot episode, not like an A and B thing.
Yeah. We're trying to find the Ripper.
The Ripper. So there's this weird country where everybody is obsessed with dolls.
Everyone just super loves dolls, and I hate it.
Yeah, everybody has dolls, and I'm like, dude, I hate dolls. Dolls are scary.
Every rational person hates dolls because they're super. It's not like a freaking Raggedy Ann or something like that. We're dealing with some freaking Annabelle the movie bullshit.
It's like those kinds of porcelain dolls that the only person that you would know that would collect is like some old grandma that keeps them in one of those glass cupboards.
Yeah, and that grandma definitely has a bunch of people's skin buried in her basement. How'd she get that skin? I don't know. I don't want to know.
I feel like doll collecting is the weirdest hobby.
Doll collecting is the fucking weirdest hobby. And there are people that collect haunted dolls. That is the one thing worse than collecting actual just porcelain dolls.
The only thing I'm thinking of that would like end up being weirder is like, imagine for some reason, for whatever reason, otaku culture just dies. Like tomorrow, it's just like it stops being a thing. They stop making it. Anything relating to it just kind of just fades out. And then you're gonna have a bunch of weebs who are gonna end up being in the like 60s with like their anime figure collections. And just imagine like some like kid going to like their grandparents' house and being like, they're all in like the cases, the fucking swimsuits.
They're all in swimsuits and risque poses. That would make me real uncomfortable, which is why I need to get on my figure budget. I need to make my grandchildren as uncomfortable as possible.
Exactly. You gotta, because they haven't been around long enough for anyone to be super old and have a collection of them.
Exactly. Every figure you buy is an investment into making children uncomfortable in the future. And isn't that what we all want at the end of the day?
Yeah, because you're not going to have like cool figures. Like you're not going to have like a Guts and like the Berserk armor. No. You're going to make sure that you're going to have like a C2 figure where it's just her butt.
Yeah, it's just the butt, nothing else.
In fact, all it is the butt. You have to have a little like name card thing next to it so people know it's C2's butt. Actually, you don't even need it. People will just look and be like, that's C2's ass. I know that ass anywhere.
Any true person of culture would know that that's C2's ass. That actually reminds me of the weirdest article I ever saw that I actually read, where apparently someone 3D printed a 2-scale model of Megumin's thighs. That's a thing that someone out there did. Someone out there decided to spend the time to to calculate those fucking dimensions. I don't even want to know how much time you have to waste on that adventure. and then to 3D print it. What is your end goal? You can't show that off. That's not a
Also,
piece you can put on the mantle.
it's just gonna be that like shitty plastic material too. It's not like it's gonna have like, any sort of like feeling to it. It's just gonna be hey, here's the 3D printer plastic.
Yeah, what is your goal?
Because I'm
Why?
pretty sure you can buy quality like stuff that they, put on, going back to dolls again, dolls.
Exactly. But no. Instead, you have decided to waste your time just to say you could. Although maybe this is a new phase. Maybe people are going to start 3D printing like actual life-size to scale models of anime people, anime characters. And you know what?
The figure industry is in danger then.
And you know what? If that's how this goes down, then 3D printed thighs guy walked so that they could run.
He really did.
He really did. I'm starting to come around on him.
They gotta be able to 3D print more material though.
Yeah, it's hard though.
Because you don't want to like 3D print a pair of titties and have them be like rock solid.
Tell that to anyone who's had plastic surgery. Anyway, the Ripper.
Yeah, we got a little off topic with that.
I mean, that's
just some inappropriate places.
That's what people are here for. If you're not down with the degeneracy, then you're not down with us in our dumpster, hombre. If you can't have us at our worst, you don't deserve us at our durst.
So the whole point of this episode is so we can, there's a plot around this episode about someone stealing hair, but it's so we can see Elena with short hair. That's the point of this episode.
It is.
And you know what? It's pretty good.
It is pretty good. I personally like the long hair better.
But yeah, so Elena goes to this town and everyone has dolls. They're really creepy. And there's another witch there from the association, and she's investigating who the Ripper is.
The Ripper.
And Elena is like, oh yeah, I don't know anything about that. I'm just a traveling witch. Anyway, see you later. And then she goes to some doll shop that's giving away dolls for free. And then we see this weird lady who talks through a doll, and she looks super tired, and like her eyes are all she has the bags under them. And then I thought, oh, this is the person.
Yeah. In order, if I would be so bold as to quote the classic hit detective serial drama Monk, she's the guy.
Yep, she's the guy. It's one of those things where when you have an episodic series that only has like a certain amount of characters shown, I'm like, oh, this is the only character shown that isn't a witch. So that's well, I guess she is, but like this is the only character shown that isn't the two witch characters we've seen. So yeah, that's who it is. It's the bad guy.
We know it's not Elena, and it's very obviously not the investigator witch. And it's pretty unlikely that it's going to be any of the weird randos that are just walking around.
Yeah, who don't matter because they haven't been given any sort of like time or focus.
It would have fucking surprised me if a background jobber ended up being the Ripper and then Sleepy Eye Bags lady came to save the day. But that's not the case. She's totally the Ripper 150%.
Yep. So she goes to her room and sees there's a creepy doll in her room in the inn, and she puts it in the closet and decides, all right, now just to relax and enjoy myself, she takes a bath, she reads some books, and she falls asleep. And then she wakes up and something's different. She looks at herself in the mirror and goes, who is this? And it's her, but with shorter hair.
Yeah, turns out the freaking doll stole her hair in her sleep.
So she calls the investigator lady, and she's like, yep, this is definitely the work of the Ripper. And she's looking around her room. Elena's just kind of face down on her mattress because she's upset. And I love the part where the lady grabs the bed to look under it, flips it, and flings her across the room.
Yeah, Elena doesn't give any fucks. She's bummed about her hair, and that trumps any physical trauma from being thrown like a rag doll.
So she decides to help the association lady because now it's personal.
No, it's personal.
And they find out from going into the they go to the main lobby, and the guy there has a doll with human hair. And they're like, "Where'd you get this?" And he's like, "From the super secret auction."
So then they go to the super secret auction.
And yeah, so they start auctioning off weird, like, essentially sex dolls.
Yeah. At first, it's like, that's just a creepy life-size doll of a person. And then the next one is around a stripper pole in lingerie. And it's like,
then there's a bunny girl one.
yep, these dolls are for a particular seller.
Yep.
Or a particular buyer, I should say.
And then the last one, they're like, "Here is a set of dolls with real human hair," and everyone's like, "Ooh, I want it, I want it."
I want it.
They see it's all the colors of like the hair of like the girls that got their hair stolen. She's like, "This is definitely the work of the Ripper." And Elena's pissed and takes out her wand. She's like, "Now just wait a second. These people don't know how it was brought here." And then the auctioneer guy's like, "This hair was brought to us by the Ripper, who has stolen it from women on the street."
By none other than the local Ripper, who has gone to the trouble of stealing the hair from living women.
And everyone starts like cheering still, like, "I want it, I want it." And the other lady's like, "All right, they're making it real hard to defend them."
And Elena stops the show.
And she calls out, she's like, "All right, will the Ripper please come to the stage?" And no one does anything, so she starts destroying the doll.
Yeah.
Just to make people like, "No, make it stop. Oh, it's so inhumane."
We get an extensive doll torture scene. And guess who shows up?
Yep, the lady with the bags under her eyes. And she's like, "Yes, it was me all along. Also, you can't beat me because I'm actually a witch." And she's like, "Oh, I'm a witch too."
As if she hadn't seen Elena immediately, like 2 minutes ago, just do magic.
Well,
whatever.
She called her a mage, so I think she just thought she was like,
oh yeah,
your run-of-the-mill spellcaster.
But nope.
Then she's like, "Oh, I'm actually a witch too." And she's like, "Oh, wait, what?" And then Elena makes a giant cage to put her in, and the association witch makes handcuffs for her.
And then things get weird.
Because it turns out she's really creepy, and she just wants to see people's face. She wants to see people happy and also people mad.
This lady gets off on extreme emotions and people's facial expressions, which was a turn I did not expect and was kind of put off by.
She's like, "Oh, you're mad, aren't you? Let me see your mad face."
Let me see your mad face. But Elena gets her hair back, the Ripper gets arrested, and we get a scene where Yuri Witch decides to unleash her unholy rage.
Yep, because she notices that apparently this lady is Saya's instructor.
Yeah.
So she's like, "Oh, hey, this lady was arrested because she stole the hair of some ashen traveling witch."
Cue the Doom music.
Yep, because she is super yandere for Elena, so she found out this girl hurt Elena, so she shocks her with lightning. It looks like a punch. But of course this lady gets off on it looks like.
Because she's
pissed. Weird.
She's pissed, and the Ripper lady is weird. That was not a turn I was expecting, but I am glad that we had a single plot episode. Because I think the longer plots give the story more time to at least try to expand so they can do a little bit more with it. But like, I get it. There's a lot of stories, so they want to cover as many as possible.
I mean, some of them are just short. Like,
yeah,
like I said with the book, some of them are 8 pages at best.
Yeah,
some of them you couldn't fill like a 30-minute episode without adding extra filler.
Yeah, I like the way they're doing it though.
Like, imagine 30 minutes of The Wall.
At that point, they would probably just start playing Pink Floyd's The Wall. Same concept, but yeah, I like the way they're doing it because they're giving the stories that are long enough the time that they need, and then they're going through some of the shorter stories that are nice as well. They're pulling it together. I like the way this show is made. It's very well produced.
Now, a show that is not very well produced, Salt Lily Bouquet.
There are weird moments where it looks better than it should that make me angry.
And then there are
I don't
moments
think
where it
we
doesn't
get
look
one.
good at all.
Oh yeah.
Like there was one part where Ojo-sama was talking to Yu, and Yu's eyes were a little too close together.
Yeah. I
Her
don't
face
know.
looked a little potato-y.
I don't know what intern they let do that scene, but don't stop. Never again. Like actually fire that person.
I think they probably just outsourced a lot of it to China.
Yeah. You hate to see it. Because
But
that stuff
yeah,
always definitely stands out.
the key thing of this episode, can two high school lesbians be parents?
Yeah.
So they're
Basically,
yeah, they are at the scene of like a bunch of huge corpses, and they find what looks to be some sort of egg-like thing.
and there's a well, there is a person inside of it that we later learn has the potential to be a lily.
And just to preface this, they found it on the beach, and there's a scene at the beginning of the episode of a ship with a bunch of these things on it that gets attacked by the huge.
Yeah.
And
I
because we find out
suspect
later there's some weird organization that wants this girl.
I think they were manufacturing lilies
Yeah, they want to make as many lilies as possible.
using the super baby method.
The super baby method.
The super baby method.
The super lesbian method.
Yes, sister. The super lesbian method. Yeah.
You got all the good charms. I got the recessive ones.
I like Metal Gear. Metal Gear's fun. You can apply it to basically any situation.
Pretty much. But yeah, so they end up going to they find this girl and they bring her back to the med bay, and Riri is really keen on trying to take care of her.
And
'Cause
basically
that's
she
the default
imprints she imprints on Riri too, so she can't leave.
Yeah, so she decides Riri is basically her mom.
It's little duck syndrome.
Yep, and the chairman of the school, I think is voiced by Joji Nakata, he
Yeah.
has a conversation with some bigwig guys in suits that are like, "Hey, we can take the kid off your hands," and he's like, "No need. We have confirmed that she's a lily, so she's going to go to school here." And they're like, why are you doing this? How about you just give us the kid? Come on." He's
Come
like,
on.
and he's
Nothing
like, "May I
suspicious
ask
here."
who specifically wants the kid?" And they're like, "We're gonna have to call you back."
Click. Yeah. It's a little sus, but
He's aware it's sus, and the student council president is aware it's sus. For some reason, she just listens in on all of his business calls.
yeah, I guess she just hangs out there all the time. Whatever.
They also called him later on in the episode a first-generation lily.
Yeah, that confused the shit out of me because he's a guy.
Yeah, he's an old man.
He's an old man.
Imagine if that was the twist, like they all grow up to be old men.
They all turn into old men.
It's like,
I don't know how I would feel about that.
That's the life cycle of every lily. They start out as cute young girls, and then they become old men.
I don't know if I'd be okay with that.
Sure, they wouldn't be okay with it either.
A bunch of attractive young lesbians grow into gay old men.
Imagine if you're like you just go up to like high school girls and you were just like, "Listen, this is you in the future," and it's just old men.
And it's old men.
All of you. There's no escape.
That would stir the pot a little bit, I'd think. My only theory for this is that maybe the first generation is like, maybe guys can do this too, but then guys were shitty at it, except him.
It was probably they just took like regular people and tried to like, "Here, we'll try to force you to use a charm." And then it's like, but then what if we have these special like Valkyrie girls that we force it onto?
What if instead of just picking regular people to force this onto, we force it onto young girls
who have for some reason higher compatibility with it
and are all just super gay? And then it just worked. Maybe that's the key. Maybe being Yuri is the key to magic.
The whole episode's basically Riri taking care of this girl, and Yu is kind of lonely without her.
Yeah, because she's off doing her own thing, taking care of this weird person who has the like mental age of maybe a 10-year-old.
Yep. And then
She doesn't even really
yeah.
like speak until the end of the episode.
Yeah, not too many things happen in this episode. It's just kind of mostly that, and then the the cutaways to the chairman talking. Then at the end of the episode, the Legion's all together, and she has her show up and introduce herself. And they're like, "So what did you name her?" And then the girl's like, "Oh, my name's Yuri." And everyone's like, "The what? Your guys' couple name?"
You named her after your couple name?
And
Yeah.
she even asks Yuri or Yu if Yu is her mom, and then she's like, "No. Are you my dad?" "No."
So yeah, she's the dad.
Yeah, she's the dad. So yeah, now they got a kid.
Only a dad would have that kind of no power.
That's true. That's high dad energy.
It is.
Yu even feels like the group's dad.
Yu does give off pretty dadly amounts of energy.
It's weird. That's a weird thing to say about a high school girl. She's got big dad energy.
She's got big dad energy. That's why she's my favorite. Yeah, it's weird, but I guess it's just a thing that's gonna be a thing from now on. Unless
yep, and
that's
she joins their class.
If I had to guess, some way of introducing some kind of plot at large.
Yeah, we need a main. That's true. We don't have a main plot in this show yet.
In episode 7, we get a hint at a main plot. So who knows? We might get an overarching plot before the show is over.
Unless we get more like team building episodes.
Yeah, because now you have a new member, so you need to do all those other team building episodes, but with her now. Yeah. Yeah. Let's talk about movies.
The day I became God.
Let's talk about movies.
I wish I had like the kind of free time the people in this guy's life have.
Fuck yeah, dude. Even like grown adults in the summer are like, yeah, I can make time for this weird endeavor.
Yeah, like the TV show lady is just like, yeah, well, I can just spend 2 whole days doing this with you.
It's because she wants, she still wants his infinite Reachy.
Yeah, she wants to see his infinite Reachy. So the sister wrote a movie, and it's just some generic fantasy thing, but of course he's a siscon, so he's like, this is amazing! This is the best thing ever! You're a genius!
I like how I think basically everyone knows this and points it out to him.
But yeah, so they need actors and stuff, and he's just like, well, everyone's probably busy, and she's like, will you please call people for me? And then she does it in like her cute little sister voice, and he's like, done. He like flips out his phone and he gathers all the troops. Also, now added to his group of friends is the loan shark.
Yeah, he kicked the shit out of the loan shark, and that dude had a JoJo turn where he saw the wrong side of his ways and decided to change himself and become a better person.
So now he's just like in the group.
Yeah. So they've got a TV show host, a loan shark, a mysterious little girl, and then the family, and also best bro and love interest.
And ramen
and love
girl.
Interest's friend. No, sister's friend.
Yeah, ramen girl.
Yeah. I like ramen girl. She's all right.
Yeah. But yeah, they're doing their
unobtrusive.
movie. And it's just kind of how it always goes, where it doesn't seem like it would actually be a good movie.
No.
But it's mostly Hina spending time with the main character, and you can see that she really she secretly likes him.
She likes him. That whole thing that we knew was going to happen, but we didn't mention until now, totally happens.
But yeah, it's a bunch of little bits and gimmicks just with that. And then we get to the actual plot in like the last 5 minutes, as always.
Yeah, the real meat comes at the very end of the episode.
Yep, when the hacker kid ends up trying to find where the lab that this guy works at. And then he tracks down where the guy lives, but the house is getting destroyed. But they took all the supplies to a dump to be destroyed.
And he needs to dramatically run up a conveyor belt to
I don't know
keep
why
the
they didn't
belongings.
I don't know why they didn't just shut the thing down. There's always an emergency stop for things like that.
Nah, you gotta run Actually, I don't know why they didn't hit the emergency stop as soon as this kid jumped onto it. Like, I could understand being like, kid, I'm not gonna fucking shut down this whole machine
Yeah, but
just
as
so
soon as
you
he
can
got
look
on,
at
I would
something.
like that's the grinder.
Yeah, that's protocol. I myself work in a factory, and I know that there are some things that you hit the emergency stop on no matter what.
Yeah,
Children getting into dangerous things is one of them.
but he gets what he needs to get, but he almost falls into the waste grinder, but then the strong bodyguard dude catches him.
Yeah, it's super dramatic, even though you totally know that that's what's gonna happen the whole time anyway.
And it looks like he took some books and a picture, and he's like, so we finally found the secret of this scientist guy. And then you see a picture of the guy, and it looks to be his daughter, and his daughter is Hina.
Yeah.
So Hina's
So
dad is some special scientist dude, so that would probably explain why she has the power to, like, of all knowingness.
yeah, she's still just like a kid, but she has not
Scientific
omnipresence.
powers.
Yeah, it's not magic, it's science, and that makes it fine. I don't know.
Don't worry, guys. I have scientific powers.
Don't worry. I have scientific powers. I am kind of curious to see where this show goes.
Also, we have 6 days till the end of the world.
Yeah, who knows what that even means?
Also, apparently, this is supposed to be a real tearjerker.
Really?
That's what he said, the creator. He's like, this is going to be one of my saddest works yet.
Me, the guy who's known for making stuff that's just an emotional nut punch. This one's gonna top all that other shit.
This isn't going to be an emotional nut punch. This is going to be an emotional castration.
We're going full emotional castration on this one. You thought you got sad at my other stuff. You ain't seen nothing yet, son. That is mind-boggling, but whatever.
Because it really doesn't feel like that so far, besides the episode with, like, the mom.
Yeah, that episode genuinely made me real sad. What's not sad? Let's talk Fire Force isn't, well...
Fire Force, Juggernaut's not dead, so we're good.
He is definitely missing an arm. He lost an arm.
And he maybe lost a foot.
Yeah. So he's fucked, but he's not dead.
Because turns out when he slammed that nuclear missile in that lady's face, her whip cut off his hand.
Yep. And
so he tells Tamaki to go on without him because it'll just slow her down.
And
but she's
Tamaki
like,
says
I'm going to get both of us out of here. And you think for a moment, oh shit, this is Tamaki's moment. This is where Tamaki's going to step up and actually win a fight.
Because 2 other White Hoods show up. And
no, she's doing okay against the normal Infernals, and you think like, all right, and then the White Hoods show up, and then Tamaki instantly gets wrecked by anybody who is like above a zombie in terms of power scaling.
I'm mad because they could have just had her like, well, the captain of the 2nd shows up and basically saves the day with his squad, and I'm like, guys, if you wanted to make this just totally not like, if you wanted to have Tamaki still have any kind of power level, you could have had her have kind of a difficult time, and then she fights them with the captain. But instead, the 2 captains show up, and they're like, "Nah, we'll save you. It's fine."
It's like, dude, let let Tamaki win a fight against a character of note.
Yeah, let her.
Like that guy was a jobber anyway, like a White Hood jobber that got easily wrecked. Just let her beat him.
Exactly. He got wrecked in like both of them got wrecked in fucking like 2 seconds.
His power was just shooting fireball projectiles too. Her whole thing is she's got like cat-like speed and reflexes.
Yeah.
You can't have her like dodge and then hit him.
She can't put Juggernaut down and be like, "Don't worry, I'm coming back for you," and then do a cool fight. No.
She was just standing near his body.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beat the guy. Why not?
Just beat a guy. Let her beat a guy. That's not the guy who loses every fight because he has a crush on her.
Yeah. Tamaki got screwed by the writer.
Yeah, I feel bad because
She is there for her lewdness, and that's it.
I kind of genuinely hate that.
Yeah.
Like there's something about that that really just really gets my goat. It bugs me. Because I think the worst part is I see these writing opportunities because she doesn't have to suck as hard as she does,
No.
but she just does anyway.
You might as well have not have made her a combatant then.
Yeah,
Like, why does she even have fire powers?
she doesn't use them. The only fight I think she actually engages in where she doesn't get destroyed is the one against the demon when they're in the Oasis. And even that is like,
Oh yeah, she doesn't really even do much.
no, she's just kind of there.
And
That's
Juggernaut does all. Juggernaut and Skateboard Dude do all like the heavy lifting for that.
Yeah, and we learned that Skateboard Dude is the biggest badass ever of all time.
It's like, hey, for a brief period, he can become as strong as Burns.
Yeah, that's kind of awesome. That dude is great, and I hope he shows up again. Because even when he's not wrecking the absolute shit out of things, he's still kind of a cool character.
Yeah, I found out something disappointing from like manga readers where like that's kind of his peak.
Oh,
He doesn't really get a lot of cool stuff post that.
that kind of sucks.
In fact, I think after that scene happened, I heard like the writer was like almost like, "Oh, I gotta give him something soon. I forgot about him."
Oh no. Like I can understand it because there are so many side characters in this show. Do you remember Princess, the captain of the sixth?
Fifth.
She's a character. She still exists in the world.
She was really strong too, but her whole thing now is just lusting over Shinra.
Yep, and she doesn't even do that. She gets like I think the entire season she's shown up for like 5 seconds in one scene.
The show has a bad habit of like making the female characters useless.
Yeah, that's problematic writing right there, folks.
The show has what I call the Sakura syndrome, where Sakura from Naruto was just the most useless character ever.
People still love her because she's the pink-haired girl.
I feel like it's probably got to be more nostalgia at this point, though.
Oh, I feel like 90% of today's love of Naruto is nostalgia.
Yeah, I don't think anyone, because people don't like Boruto. It's not like they kept following with it.
Yeah, no one gives a shit.
But yeah, no, that's most because Iris can't fight. The only people that fight out of the female characters that we really see are actually the only one that doesn't suck is Maki.
Yeah, but unfortunately,
I feel like we're gonna get a scene in this arc where Maki's gonna come back and save the eighth.
Oh yeah, I'm
be
just
nice.
waiting for
Maki
it.
actually having a moment where she can like do something.
I'm waiting for it. Because so far, the only, like, flaw with Maki is that she's an emotional pushover, but, like, that's just a character quirk.
Yeah.
That isn't as problematic of a stereotype as this female character is just straight up useless all the time.
She's just eye candy.
She's just eye candy. And we're going to remind you of that.
Like, I'm fine with fan service, but that's, like, her only character trait. It's like, what does Tamaki do? She is useless and needs to be saved by everybody.
Getting a little tired of the unlucky lechery trait too. It's just
there's not really any like build up or reward for it. It's just kind of like Tamaki's on screen, guess it happens.
Yeah, because it's not even like that funny of a punchline. It just is a thing that happens.
I don't think that gimmick has been funny
ever.
It's never been funny, but like it's old.
It is especially tired here. And I don't know if that's maybe just because we're both old and jaded at this point and we've seen it so many times. We're like, yeah, all right, whatever. But
what's next? Is she going to fall on his face and he's going to be like, these aren't my glasses?
These aren't. You just wrote a funnier joke around that than I'm pretty sure they ever could in this show. I think you've done it. I think you've topped Fire Force in lechery jokes. These aren't my glasses.
Oh, back to the episode though.
Yeah.
So the captain of the 8th and the second show up, and there's a cool scene. Again, it's annoying because Tamaki's been like robbed of the fight, But there's a part where Obi ends up charging at this guy, and he just shoots a big fire blast at him. And they even say, like, careful, you're underpowered. And he's like, I've trained for this. And he goes up to the guy and just knocks him out in one punch.
Captain Obi is such a big badass that he can run through a fireball and instantly knock out a dude in one punch.
Yeah.
He has earned captain status, and he doesn't even have any powers.
Oh, and then they run into Dr. Licht, who's been running around by himself.
And he has the fucking worst run I've ever seen. It's hilarious.
Yep, and then he runs into Tamaki and then ends up accidentally grabbing her ass.
Yep, because that's the thing.
It's like not only do you not get a cool fight moment and everyone else has to save you and you couldn't even save the person who tried to save you, now you get accidentally sexually harassed. And then there's actually a really cool part where the lieutenant and Maki's brother are fighting together. And they're fighting some wrestler
cool
dude.
Fight scene.
They're fighting a guy who's just so hard.
Yes, they come across an iron mountain of a man.
Yeah, this guy's firepower essentially is that he like heats and cools himself rapidly, kind of like metal, how it makes metal stronger when you do that.
Don't worry about it. It totally makes sense.
Oh, and turns out her brother does have fire powers.
Yeah, he can block the flames.
He basically can just make a shield.
Yep, which is a pretty damn useful power.
Especially combined with a guy whose like a gun is his main thing. They actually make a perfect combo.
Yeah, and they spend the entire fight just taking snips at each other.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's mostly the brother, because the brother just keeps going on about, like, man, I really don't want Maki in this group. Maki's not safe with you guys. And the lieutenant's just like, please try to focus.
Yeah,
please
that's true.
To focus.
He says that every time.
But then they realize that this guy has...
barbarians.
Then they beat the guy because the lieutenant shoots him in the joints because he's like, there's no way you can make yourself that hard and still move. You would need to keep your joints completely, like, unchanged.
Exactly. And since his power is basically Sex Pistols.
Yeah. He just shoots him in all of his joints.
And it's super cool.
And he's like, it's true. That's why I couldn't become a protector. I was just too hard.
And then he dies. Because they shot that man like 7 times.
They shot him all in the joints, so...
And he doesn't bleed.
Oh, but then we find out because Dr. Licht finds out what they're planning on doing. They're planning on blowing up the tunnels.
Which is kind of a problem since they're underneath fucking everything.
Oh, and Shinra starts fighting Dr. Giovanni, who turns out the creepy scientist man made himself a bug man.
Yeah, he fused his DNA with bug. So now he has crazy bug limb.
Yeah, he has bug limbs, and also he has like moth feelers, so he can pick up on Shinra's speed.
Yeah,
it's just creepy. He's a very creepy man. I hope if they kill any of the bad guys this one, they kill Dr. Giovanni, because I don't like him.
Yeah, he's creepy and weird. I will always be sad to see a Plague Doctor character go, but I'd be okay if he died. I'd be cool with that. He's creepy. He's gone too far. His
goal is to grab Shinra before they blow up the tunnels, because obviously they can't kill Shinra because they need him.
Yeah, they need the pillars.
And Arthur shows up, and they're going to fight together.
Team up for special attack.
I have a feeling Dr. Giovanni's going to have a hard time.
Yeah, one might...
How does Bug beat Sword?
I don't.
It don't. Bug don't beat Sword.
If you can lightsaber a moth in half, then it don't.
Speaking of bugs, Higurashi.
Yeah. So...
The transition works because the English title of the series is When the Cicadas Cry.
I always forget that. So we get the end of this arc.
So, Keiichi ends up going back to school, and it turns out Rika is missing.
Oh no.
Of course, Rika doesn't fucking care. She's, like, already done with this arc.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and then Satoko's like, that's strange. She was last seen with you, Keiichi.
Keiichi sus?
Yeah, Keiichi sus. And then Keiichi is like, no, I was with...
I was in Reactor.
Yeah, I was in Reactor. at the same time, where were you, Satoko? Oh, I was in storage with Rena.
Oh.
But yeah, so they have all the kids look around for her, and then Keiichi, for some reason, is gonna check in the like bathrooms, but then Mion calls to him and is like, "Hey, Keiichi, I think I saw something on the roof."
Okay. So he decides to grab a ladder and he heads up to the roof. And surprise, surprise, there's nothing up there. Because
Yep.
guess what?
And then Mion starts
Mion
going.
sus.
Yeah, Mion starts going into like one of her crazy like things like it's all of them that are causing this. I gotta do something about them. And then she starts shaking the ladder violently, and Keiichi's like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 hey, hey, hey!"
And then the teacher shows up and breaks the snaps her out of it with the, "Hey, what are you guys doing?"
And then he goes back home, and Mion calls him and is like, "Hey, Keiichi, do you want to come over to my house?"
And he agrees, even after witnessing that.
And so they go to her house, and because her family's Yakuza, they have a big-ass mansion.
And a lot of barbed wire fencing and security cameras.
And a lot of woods around them because they own a lot of property.
Nothing suspicious here.
And she brings him over, and they end up having tea and just talking, and everything's fine and normal. And he tells her the truth about how he ended up going to the storage shed, and he's all scared. And she says that he can trust her, and she hugs him and lets him know that it'll be okay. And she's like, "I want to show you something."
And then they go to the bunker.
They go to the basement. So in the basement, they're like, "So you know all that stories about the all the torture and human sacrifice stuff?" She's like, "Anyway, check out our basement. We have a bunch of torture tools here. We haven't used them, but they're here just in case. So people need to know that they're here."
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Also, let's go further into the basement." He's like, "Wait, it goes deeper than this." Turns out they have a bunch of cages.
Yes, nothing. Don't worry. Everyone has cages built into the rock underneath their basement. Don't worry about it.
And then a bunker deeper in the basement with a bulletproof sealed door.
Nothing weird going on here, Keiichi. Just keep following me on into the bunker.
And then they go into the bunker, and they got this sort of console area with a bunch of security cameras that can view the entire area.
And yet another cell inside the bunker.
And then she throws Keiichi into the cell, and he's just like, "What are you doing?" He's like, and she says to him, "If anyone finds you down here that isn't me, just tell them I went crazy and locked you up in here, and it's all my fault. You should have enough food and water to survive for at least a month down here."
Anyway, I'm going to go end this. And
yeah,
she
I'm going to
pulls
go
out
fix
a
all this
big-ass
problem.
revolver.
And she tells Keiichi, though, that she wants him to stay safe because she loves him.
Yes, because the doll he gave her was the love trigger. So that's how this one goes.
Where instead, last time she wants to kill him because he didn't give her the doll.
I'd say this one's preferable.
Yeah, but she ends up going, she's like, "Oh, they sent their minion instead. Guess I'll have to face them myself." And she leaves, and then Keiichi gets out of the room because apparently all that door takes is a good charge into it to open up. And
from a middle schooler.
Yep. And he sees on the computer screen a bunch of dudes all surrounding the property.
It looks like she's gonna have to go fucking commando.
She's gonna have to go John Wick on them.
That'd be cool. But that's not how the show goes.
Yeah. And then he tries to ram himself into the bulletproof door.
This does not
To be
break...
honest, I thought that was an indoor, it opened inward. Because it has the handles to pull.
I think you're right. I
he
think
does that so much that his head is bloody. I thought he was at first gonna kill himself on that. I'm like, no, Keiichi, you're not gonna die to a door, are you?
that would be one fucking
There's
twist ending to the arc.
But yeah, he gets found, and he is in a stretcher, and he sees Oishi, and all the police are taking him, and they're like, "Oh, thank goodness you're alive." He's in the hospital and gets out, and a few days later he comes across Oishi, and they sit on a park bench, and he asks what happened. He's like, "Well, we found your friend Furude Rika in the school septic tank."
Which is why he was having some trouble. She was strangled, and he was having some trouble opening the bathroom door earlier.
And
So
he's like, also, did you see that well in the basement of the Sonozaki household? He's like, no. He's like, oh, we found the remains of her parents, Shion Sonozaki. Also, there were like 3 other skeletons down there.
yeah, there were a lot of dead people in that well.
Yeah, we think Mion killed them. Also, your friend Satoko and Mion were both found dead in the entranceway of the Sonozaki mansion. So everyone's dead but you. And
yeah, everyone.
Rena's fine.
Ironically, this is the one arc where Rena is fine, but everyone else is dead. I've also noticed that this arc ended basically the same way as the first one, where Keiichi was seriously injured, rescued by someone, and then given the lowdown on what happened, basically.
Although this time, like last time where I assumed that like Keiichi went nuts and beat Rena to death, this one he's pretty much innocent. He's just confused. He's like, wait, from that description, it sounds like Mion killed all those people. And it just kind of ends on that.
Right. And I'm real curious to see what the answer arc for this one is.
There's a theory going around because Satoko's been acting strange. Also, Satoko went there. The theory is that Satoko is looping now.
That I could see that, because she has been acting real strangely, and it would make sense that she would be suspicious of Keiichi in this arc if she witnessed the other arc where Keiichi went a little fucking bananas.
Yeah, or if she's been through this one before where she knows Mion does something.
Yeah.
But yeah, who knows?
Exactly. I'm curious. The show is lots of twists and turns, and I'm looking forward to getting to the answer arc so I can see what they all are.
Yeah, because we don't have. There's always a chance someone is like making Satoko loop because Hanyu isn't around anymore. Hanyu was that like deity figure. Yeah, she's the deity figure in like the first episode that Rika's with. Hanyu is essentially the one that's causing Rika to loop, but Hanyu's kind of out of power now, so someone else is causing this.
Who could it be?
A lot of people are theorizing it is one of the witches from Umineko.
I know it has been theorized that Rika is one of the witches from Umineko.
Well, yeah, because she shares a design with Birkenstall.
Could it perhaps be that Rika is somehow using Birkenstall powers, opening the loop again?
Rika's done with this shit.
That's fair.
Rika's like, this has been 100 years of this shit. I'm done.
She don't want to solve these mysteries anymore. And now they have foisted it upon another child.
Yeah, and we don't even know if Tomitake and Takano died this arc. They just got in a truck and left.
Yeah, we assume they died, but we don't get any proof.
So who knows?
Yeah, there's a lot of shit that's going on.
If Satoko is, I'm excited for in the next arc. I think it's probably going to be Satoko focused because I know that one's sort of about. I think the next arc in the original one was about like Tenpei or Teppei, which is Satoko's uncle, who is super mean and abusive to her. But we'll see.
Yeah, I like the show. And if you like our show, then I would suggest that you, if you are watching on YouTube, like, subscribe, leave a comment.
Yeah, subscribe. The button's right there. Unless you're watching in like full screen mode, then that would be a little weird to watch this in full screen mode because nothing's happening on the screen. But
you get to look at the key art real big.
Yeah, and it probably doesn't look that good because I don't think it's like scaled for that.
No, it's not. But you do you. If you're listening on other platforms, on one of the many podcast platforms that we distribute to, that's your iTunes, your Google Plays, your Deezers, your Spotifys, your iHearts Radio, all of those. Then subscribe on those. Subscribe on those platforms. Leave likes, reviews, all of that fun stuff.
Hey guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Yes, all of that stuff does help greatly.
And we are on social media.
Yes, Facebook and Twitter at Protagonist Seat for both. That's where we post updates.
Yep, we are on Twitter and Boomer Book.
and Boomer Book. That's where we post all of the hottest updates on what we're doing. As always, the illustrious Popskyy is the musical genius who made our opening. And spread the word. Evangelize. That is the word of mouth is the best way for a podcast to spread.
Tell people. Tell people.
This Thanksgiving, give people something they can really be thankful for. Two guys talking about seasonal anime for approximately 1 hour at a time.
Approximately.
Approximately.
Give or take like 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah. It's never that bad. I will say it's since I've started to cut out a lot of dead space and stuff, it's not that bad anymore. Yeah, I think that's everything.
Indubitably.
Then if that's all we got.
Ugh. I'm yawning.
Class dismissed.
Fairly
Get out of
well.
here. Go home. Go to your clubs.